Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Well, good morning. Dan DeDona here with the localnews1.org weekly report for Hagerstown, Chambersburg, Smithsburg, Fairfield, Waynesboro, and all the communities that make up our local area. We're going to start, as we usually do, with the 15th of May edition of 5 Things to Do This Weekend. Actually, it's a little longer list. There's an awful lot of things happening this weekend. We'll cover quite a few. First off, though, is that laughter is going to take center stage as the all-in events and rentals people host a comedy night designed to bring the Chambersburg community together for an evening of entertainment, food, and drinks. The event will be held from 6 until 8 p.m. on May 15th at, that'll be tonight, at the All-In Events and Rentals facility at 2764 Lincoln Way West in Chambersburg. It'll feature comedy performances, a BYOB atmosphere, and food available for purchase. The event aims to give residents a chance to relax, socialize, and enjoy a fun night out with friends. And second up, your backyard geology. If you've never really given much thought about that, but there's an awful lot of history in all the rocks and stones and all the layers right below you. There's also an awful lot of caves around. Well, it turns out that the Buttonwood Nature Center is going to be hosting your backyard geology on May 16th. That'll be tomorrow. This will be a bus excursion led by geologist Jerry Jones. It'll take participants aged 8 and older to sites in Biglerville, Bendersville, South Mountain, Shippensburg, and Williamson, and also explore volcanic rock formations, limestone deposits, and the Black Coffee Cavern, which, if you've never been there, is a very interesting place, very beautiful. The trip will run from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Transportation is provided. You get a tour book, and a cavern admission is all included in the registration fee. It is designed to help residents better understand the geologic history beneath their own backyards. Third up, this is the second time we've had a pickle thing. I didn't realize pickles was such a thing, but this is the second time there's a big event, the Quad State Pickle Fest. This is a 2-day celebration with food, music, and quirky fun, May 16th and 17th, Saturday and Sunday, at the Washington County Agricultural Education Center, 7313 Sharpsburg Pike in Boonesboro. The festival will feature live performances by Mackberry Band, Rule G, and Hair Force One on Saturday, followed by Milk Mountain, Kelly Bell Band, and the Amish Outlaws on Sunday. Admission ranges from $17 to $24, while children 12 and under will be able to get in free. The event is designed to bring together pickle enthusiasts. You know who you are. From across the region for a weekend of entertainment, food, and community fun. Number 4 on the list, the annual Greencastle Spring Market Day, hosted by the Shop Consign and Collect Company and the Greencastle Antrim Chamber of Commerce, will be taking place Saturday, May 16th, from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. It'll be offering community members a chance to support local crafters and enjoy fresh fare from diverse food trucks. Also sponsored by F&M Bank, serves as a cornerstone for community engagement, provides a dedicated platform for small businesses and creators to showcase their talents in the heart of downtown Greencastle. And number 5, the Battle of Cheesecakes. In case you didn't know it, apparently there's a very high level of competition among different people in the town of Hagerstown who create cheesesteaks. So cheesesteak lovers will be able to settle the score this Saturday from 3 until 8 p.m. This will be held throughout downtown Hagerstown, Maryland. It'll feature fresh cheesecakes, a beer garden from Antietam Brewery, and family-friendly entertainment as organizers seek to crown the city's top cheesesteak. Admission ranges from $15 to $45. Well, those are the 5 things that you'll see in the paper in localnews1.org. Several other things cropped up. We'll try to cover them briefly. Hagerstown's festival lineup is now rolling into full swing with Porch Fest. That'll be also taking place on Saturday, the 16th, from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. with nearly 50 artists ready to take on Prospect Street. Apparently, this event started many years ago on Prospect Street, and it has expanded, but Prospect Street is still the center of activity. There'll be a variety of music performances ranging from rock to bluegrass, country, jazz, and so much more. Food trucks, beer garden, this time sponsored by Old Orchard Liquors, and dozens of vendors. Excuse me. Festivities will begin just up the hill from City Park on 175 South Prospect Street in Hagerstown. It'll stretch down the road and around town. Admission is free. So to find out more information, check out their website. Next up, the Penn State Extension is going to be hosting the Franklin County Master Gardener Plant Sale from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m., also on Saturday at 425 Franklin Farm Lane in Chambersburg. This annual event features a wide selection of greenhouse-grown vegetable plants, annual flowers, and herbs, including rare and hard-to-find varieties. There'll also be perennials, ground covers, shrubs, trees at affordable prices. Sale is designed to help gardeners prepare for the growing season while supporting educational outreach. It's open to the public. Next to the last, the Antietam Humane Society will be having its 6th annual Pawlooza, which will be happening Sunday, May 17th from 1 until 4 p.m. at Otterbein Park, 13375 Welty Road in Waynesboro. You can grab your family and bring your dogs to celebrate National Rescue Dog Day with an afternoon full of family-friendly fun, activities for pets, local vendors, food trucks, music, and more, all while supporting the life-saving work of this no-kill shelter. The Antietam Humane Society has done a very good job of seeing to it that they don't have to destroy animals after a certain period of time. They very aggressively work at trying to find homes for all the pets that they're able to find. As a matter of fact, you'll probably notice in Local News 1 we have two. The Chambersburg Humane Society the Chambersburg Animal Society and Cumberland Valley Animal Society, CVAS, and Antietam Humane Society each run pictures every single week of pets, either dogs or cats, or sometimes other animals that are available for you to pick up for virtually nothing. So if you've been looking for a pet, you should consider stopping in to Antietam Humane Society, but especially this weekend. This should be a good time. And last of all, Buttonwood's 17th Annual Youth Festival is returning May 17th, also on Sunday from 1 until 5 p.m. at Pine Hill Recreation Area in Washington Township. The full afternoon of free outdoor activities, educational programs, and live entertainment designed for children and families. There'll be opportunities for families to participate in outdoor activities, educational experiences, and at connecting children with nature. Admission to this festival is free. So that covers all the special activities that are taking place this weekend. Hopefully there's something there you'll be able to find that you can take either yourself or the entire family to. The top of our news for this week, for the past week, has basically been the run-up to primary elections in Pennsylvania. Look, you really need to vote. I know there's a lot of people out there that they either don't see the point because a lot of other people out there, they think their vote doesn't count, or they don't like politics. Well, to the first point, I would suggest this. Every bit of authority that an elected official wields once they are in office comes from you, whether you voted or not. If only 1 in 10 people show up, everybody else is deciding who your rights are and whom your authority is going to be delegated to. So it's really in your best interest to make sure that you exercise some thought about who is going to be not only representing you, but who is going to be using the authority that you delegate to them via an election. Make sure that they use it right. To the second point, you don't like politics? Well, you need to ask yourself, who do you want to represent you? The only opportunity that all of us have, in most cases, I'll stick with the only. The only opportunity we have to hold politicians accountable is not after they get into office, because then it becomes a very difficult process to get rid of them if we don't like them. And they have to do something pretty egregious for that to happen. You hold them accountable at each election. And if you didn't like what they were doing, they're gone. And there's a lot of turnover, especially in the House, but also in the Senate from time to time. So it's a matter of your expectations. If you don't think you have expectations about how people are going to represent you, and you don't like how people are representing you, this is your one and only opportunity in most cases to do something about that. So we'll move on to the stories. The Pennsylvania primaries will be taking place on 19th of May. We primarily cover Franklin County in this regard, a little bit of Adams County. There's an awful lot of people. Just so perhaps people in Maryland don't know this, and maybe even some people in Pennsylvania. But in Pennsylvania, in the primaries, you can only vote for the party in which you are registered. So you have to be a registered Republican or Democrat or an independent of some kind in order to vote for people who are running as Republicans, Democrats, and so on. So we have an article in local news that has identified all of the people who are voting, who are running as Democrats and Republicans and as independents in some cases for all of the offices that are available during this coming fall's election. So check all that out on Local News 1. There's also a separate article that provides guidance for if it's been a while since you've voted, or if you've never voted before and you want to know a little bit more about, well, who do I contact and where do I find my voting, my poll area. Check it. Well, there's another article there that will help you out with that. So in Pennsylvania, moving on, Pennsylvania Senator Doug Mastriano has recently been nominated by President Trump to be the U.S. ambassador to the Slovak Republic. And he stated that he was very, very honored to accept the nomination. Of course, he has to go through the Senate and get confirmed. He will still be serving the district, the 33rd district, until he's actually accepted and is ready to take on the job. There will be a special election in Pennsylvania when a position like this becomes available. Turns out the head of the Senate schedules a special election, which is usually, and this will probably occur in the fall during the regular elections, the off-year elections, but he'll schedule an election, and the different parties will nominate whom they want to fill, and then there'll be an election to decide who's actually going to fill the slot for the remainder of Senator Mastriano's term. So that's how that works. In Waynesboro, the school board, you may recall in the aftermath of the open hearings for Mr. Pappas to remain as an employee in Waynesboro, that one of the members of the school board resigned shortly after that. So there's a vacancy over there. There was a vote the other night. 2 people had applications that were turned in. There was some discussion. One of those 2 won a majority of those present, but the rules say that you have to win a majority of all members, which means in a 4-3 vote, they really need 5 to have a full majority. They had 1 person not there. So in this particular case, that vote is null and void, and they'll have to do it again at another time when they have a candidate who can hopefully bring at least 5 votes from the 9-member panel. On the 5th of May, Washington County Commissioners were very busy. They identified $658,000 for Boonesboro for a water line that has gotten problematic over an extended period of time. The town is actually contributing $2.3 million of its own money from several internal sources. The commissioners, though, indicated that they could steer the Boonesboro folks off on the path of finding federal or state grants to do this, but apparently it's a relatively urgent need. So the county decided that they were going to intervene, and they were going to make a grant of an additional $658,000 to fill the gap, to do what needs to be done over there in Boonesboro. Then on the 12th of May, the commissioners approved $536.2 thousand for 2027 operations and capital budgets. It was $355 for operations, $103 for the capital budget, and this represents about a 10% increase in the size of the budget. Education is up by $5.9 million, and public safety was up by $98 million. Apparently, most of those latter increases were due to pay raises and negotiated settlements for the employees. Washington County also announced that their adult treatment center has graduated 35 people. Now, these are people who have been incarcerated for a while. So somewhat like the Good Wolf program over in Franklin County, the Washington County people are trying to set people up for success after they come out of some form of incarceration. And they've got a pretty good track record. It says here that they've got 70% of the people who graduate from this course do not return to crime. They're no longer problems. There was also a comment. County Administrator Gorton indicated that although there was a bit of a kerfluffle, if you might recall last week, there was a bit of conversation about whether or not the county officials had signed a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA with ICE or with Department of Homeland Security. Administrator Gordon says that there is no NDA. The evidence was somewhat circumstantial last week, but she's stating flat out there was no NDA. So take that for what it's worth. In Hagerstown, the council took some time to look at to discuss 2027 budget. Those conversations continue. They're currently looking at a $780,000 federal community development grant, which will finance quite a few programs in Hagerstown. $175,000 federal money for infrastructure and $126,000 for public services. There was another $1.2 million that goes into the Hagerstown investment initiatives, which helps them to bring properties and business development along within the city. Another $275,000 for rental assistance programs. At Penn State, the Penn State people have added a course at Penn State Mont Alto to help students transition in a year, 2027, when the campus closes. I suppose that's a nice touch on their part. The Waynesboro Community Human Services people is asking for the community support to restock their food pantry and their clothing bank. Apparently there's been quite a run on that within recent months. Their regular hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 9 until 12, and then from 1 until 3, and then again on Thursdays from 1 until 6. So if you have some, excuse me, it's usually canned food is what they're looking for. If you have canned food or if you have clothing that you've been meaning to get rid of, this would be a great place to put it. Helps out people within the Waynesboro community. In police business, in Waynesboro, a young gentleman by the name of Jason Montalvo Jr., 22 years old, is charged with attempted homicide, assault, on the 3rd of May for some actions that he took. In Chambersburg, Eric Sobolski, who is a convicted sex offender, was identified as now living at 131 Park Avenue in Chambersburg. The city officials have an obligation to, in accordance with Megan's Law, to see to it that registered sex offenders' locations are publicly announced so that people know who's living with them. PennDOT has initiated its Click It or Ticket campaign. They do this every single year. This campaign is going to run from the 11th through the 31st of May this year. It's all about wearing seatbelts, but it also and the primary reason that they want people wearing it is that if you are in an accident, your chances of survival, according to the statistics, rise 60% with a seatbelt on as opposed to not. It's not all about tickets. The state police are also going to be providing, for those of you who have children, free child seat inspections to make sure that your children's seats and the protections that they afford will also be up to snuff, and will save your children in the event of an accident. That service is provided for free, by the way. Under People News, we have an awful lot of things happening this spring. In Waynesboro, attorney Bill Dick was honored by the state bar for 50 years worth of service. Congratulations, Mr. Dick. In Northern Hagerstown, lady by the name of Anna Chamberlain is quite an amazing athlete. Apparently, she's multi-talented. She's played a number of different sports. Apparently, her first love is track and field, though, and even there, she participated in multiple events. This year, she actually competed in all 18 events in a track meet, which is pretty remarkable. And it's long distance running, that's sprints, that's pole vault, that's hurdles. And not only did she participate in them all, but she placed fairly well in all of them. So there's an awful lot of athletes that specialize in just one thing, and they get very, very good at it. But here's a young lady that's taken on an awful lot of activity and done very well in it. So congratulations to Ms. Chamberlain. The Boonesboro softball team is moving to Class 1A quarterfinals, and they are the top seed. Waynesboro's Indians are headed to the District 3 playoffs. They'll be hosting, there was some question about whether or not the schedule would change or not, but if things didn't change from the story earlier this week, they will be hosting Carlisle at 4:30 this afternoon in Waynesboro. Greencastle's wrestler Zane Krause took the Mid-Atlantic Association Eastern Nationals Championship about a week ago. The South Hagerstown Unified Track Team won the Division III gold at the state meet. This is the Unified Track Team is it's an event for people with special needs where they pair a person who needs some assistance with a partner, and then they compete together. Apparently, the South Hagerstown Unified Track Team has done particularly well in recent years, so congratulations again. Smithsburg handily won their Class 1A West 2 semifinals, and they are moving on to quarterfinals. And in Franklin County, the commissioners have named Aaron Whitmer, who is their assistant fiscal director, as the April Employee of the Month. That's everything on people. We'll get down to a few health matters here. There's an interview in this past week's Local News 1 with Kurt Kessler, the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center's orthopedic care athletic trainer. He offers some great thoughts on sports injuries, especially for youth, and how to prevent them, what kind of good habits you should utilize, and if you're going to seek medical attention, how you should go about doing that. So it's a good article for all parents and all athletes who are participating in high school sports. The Emeritus Allergy and Asthma Specialist, Dr. Alyssa James, has a discussion on asthma, which affects 7% of the population. Says its impacts are more than just coughing and hacking, which is the way most people think of people with asthma. It has impacts on the way people develop as well. So she has some good guidance in there for people with asthma, things that you should look out for, and ways to deal with it. And finally, in Chambersburg, the Children's Advocacy Center is advising that kids who are engaged in physical activity, social interaction, and creative activity are much more resilient and have much better coping skills in life, no matter what activities they get involved in. So their guidance is, especially for parents, make sure your kids are active. Don't let them just sit there on the couch and play games. They need to interact with other people and compete and be creative. So, good words. There's a lot more in every week's localnews1.org. We have local history on every Tuesday, the writings of Dargan Boy on Thursdays, an enormous amount of sports. We talked about just the teams that are moving forward, but we have statistics and standings for every single one of the schools, the school districts that we cover in both Franklin County and in Washington County. Crossword puzzles, theatrical activities, just an enormous amount going on. We are very proud to be the news source for Standing Media. You can see all the local news at localnews1.org. It's all local, no national. Just think of us as a newspaper without the paper. Real stories. And with that, we will leave you with the thought of the day from a man who saw an ad for burial plots and immediately thought to himself, this is the last thing I need. Bada bing. Have a great week.
Let's talk TriState.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk TriState, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.